Hey bird watchers, in this demo we'll use Asana as our control center to orchestrate content through Intento and Crowdin, using the Asana form to conditionally route our file through the applicable workflow. And then Slack's going to let us know when it's all done. Here is our Asana board with tasks in different phases. Our bird will move the task through each phase before the end of this demo. We're going to use an Asana form to capture the request. You could use this as an internal translation request form for your employees, setting required fields that will create the ticket in a structured way. Here, we'll drag in a file we want translated, but we could also include a field for content ID or path from a CMS or other system. Blackbird picks up on the trigger of the new Asana task, gets the applicable custom fields from Asana, uses a library to convert language codes to the destination systems, and then uses a condition to route our file to the correct flow based on the type of content it is. In this workflow, we're using an MTPE approach by creating a project in Crowdin, updating our task in Asana to say that it's in translation. We're running the content through Intento, adding a task in Crowdin for human review, and then using a checkpoint to wait for that review to get done. Here is the project in Crowdin and the language we selected from our Asana form. We can access the file here in the Crowdin UI. And we can see that the Intento machine translation flowed into the Crowdin UI. It's ready for human review. And then we can work through all these issues. Once ready, we confirm all of our segments. That's our next trigger in Blackbird to get the file back from Crowdin and upload back to Asana. We'll set our task as delivered and send a Slack message to let us know it's ready. Here's the Slack message we sent. Back in Asana, we can see the task has moved to delivered. And our translated file has been added to the task. This is what our machine translated file looks like. This workflow went through MTPE because the content type was tagged as help desk in the submission. In a minute, we'll check out a different workflow based on the content selection, but first, let's take a closer look at how we configured this bird. We're triggering this bird when a task is added and set to in review. We then get the details of this flight to pass back to the Asana ticket for traceability. From there, we extract the values of the custom fields, meaning Blackbird will wrap around your specific setup of Asana. Using a convert operator, we can take languages from the Asana form and convert them to the language codes understood by Intento and Crowdin. And here's where it gets really cool, because one workflow has now become three, since we can use content type as a condition to route our file to a different flow, all within the same bird. For marketing content, we can go full human translation. For UI strings, we can go AI only. And for everything else, we can go MT with human review. This is what we did in our first form, adding a project to Crowdin, adding the file and task, and then exporting an XLIF from Crowdin, which we can then translate with Intento and add back to the Crowdin project. Our human-in-the-loop checkpoint will wait for the project to be ready in Crowdin, download the file, and upload it back to the Asana task. Move the task to the delivered section of our board, and then send a Slack message. For the marketing content flow, you can see we're not exporting the content to run through Intento, and instead, we'll do a more traditional localization approach through Crowdin. For the UI strings, we're just running through Intento and then back to Asana. Let's see that UI strings flow by filling out our form again, but selecting UI strings as the content type. Here's our JSON file. Blackbird gets that event trigger and runs through the first phases of the workflow, same as before. The difference will be that the condition will send this file straight to Intento for processing. Once the file is done, it will upload to our task in Asana, move the task to delivered, and send a Slack message, same as the last workflow. So, only the meat of the sandwich changes in this flow. Our task is delivered with no manual data entry or file movements. And there you have it, some automated workflow options using Asana as your primary task management tool. Blackbird can connect right to a content source, or have a tool like Asana be your control center to choose what content from what system and into what languages or workflows. If you're ready to fly, head over to blackbird.io to book a call with us to discuss more.